DC podcast. My name is Dr. DC, and sitting beside me is my special co-host for this week, Mrs. DC.
Hey there.
Each week, we talk about the weird and wonderful world of DC while fielding questions from listeners like you. And as you obviously know, because we observe this in our house, January is coming to an end.
Yeah, no, may it leave as swiftly as it came.
I mean, how dare you, January? Incredible idea.
Apologies.
All of our theme months are great, even the ones that are no theme or just a month.
Everything you guys do is rock solid gold.
Thank you.
Okay.
January, my God, what a celebration. We talked about a favorite character of former DC co-publisher Dan DiDio. We talked about the work of amazing artist Dan Mora. We talked about characters named Dans. And so I knew for the final episode of January, I had to up the stakes, I didn't want to be resting on my laurels. So this week, the challenge was that I would only respond to questions submitted by Dans.
Shit got real.
And a bunch of you did not disappoint. You immediately legally changed your names to Dan. The doc score is legally binding for those who didn't know.
Just one small side note.
Sure.
This just goes to show how invested I am in your life, in your podcast.
Okay.
When the doctor said to me that it's January, I looked at him and seriously said, wait, you mean Dan Dunn?
Yeah, that's true.
I
you
truly,
went straight there.
Dan Dunn, shout out to you. I thought that this was all about you and they just had a mild to moderate obsession.
The OG. Maybe the best Dan of them all.
Yeah.
If there was a Doxner for best Dan, then it would go to Dan Dunn.
There you go.
Yeah. But there's not. So
Rude.
Richard's been away. He's been in Hawaii. He's technically home now, but he's a lazy bastard who refused to come and record after 20 hours of travel and not sleeping in the airport. So
you're stuck with me.
So you're here. You're my substitute, Richard.
In life and in art.
Yeah,
It's good.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, which is great because I already just transplant identities and
it hurts my feelings. All right.
So, final episode of January. We got a bunch of just generic DC questions,
Perfect.
all from Dan's.
Okay.
Dan's young and old.
Well, maybe I'll be batting much higher average based on questions by Dan's.
Sure. All right, let's go for it. We're gonna start by going to Reddit, where everyone's nice and no one's ever mean. And first question comes from Go Speed Racer Go, who asks, "My name is Dan. I don't know if that counts. It absolutely counts. What is a fair DC versus Marvel matchup? Like 4 heroes on both sides that are equally strong. Also, what's Flash's favorite food? Thanks, Richard, you are the GOAT." What the fuck? No. You're about to answer this question legitimately. We're about to blow back. Richard's the GOAT? He's not even here. He abandoned you in this incredible month that we had.
Babe, it's okay.
No.
It's okay.
It'll never be okay.
It's okay that Richard's the GOAT. It's okay.
I'll never Dan give, and I'll never Dan get.
Honestly, you're a dander to yourself. You really are.
Dan Dunn, he's the dote. The Dan of all time.
Wow. That was so good.
Yeah. I guess he could have been the good dote.
Waiting for Godot?
Waiting for good dote. The greatest Dan of all time. Hey, who are you waiting for? Good dote.
Yeah. Tell me that you're a theater nerd without telling me that you have theater degrees.
Yeah, Samuel Beckett's Waiting for Godot. That's a good joke. I don't care what anyone says.
You're welcome.
That's a good joke.
You're welcome.
Fine. So the question then.
All right.
If you had to try to pick, we don't have to pick the strongest, but if we're trying to make, the most even matchup,
okay,
what 4 kind of Marvel characters would you put against what 4 DC characters?
I'd be intrigued to see an Arrow off, like Green Arrow versus Hawkeye.
I mean, it's no contest, but yeah, absolutely.
Well, it would be interesting to see.
Sure.
You said that strength isn't really a.
You can pick strong. I just said I just didn't want it to be we picked 4 strongs. I was trying to think a little bit more broadly.
I think it would be interesting to sort of. I was going to say cross-pollinate.
Oh my god!
I'd like to see.
I don't think they let you do that in these crossovers.
I like the arrow face off, but I would also love to see like just a throwdown Black Canary against what is her name? Like Scarlet Witch or something like that.
Black Canary, it'd be like very different power sets.
But
I thought you were going to say like Elektra or something like
No.
a couple of martial artsy
Maybe,
ladies
but
fighting or something.
I would find it very interesting to see how different power sets would
Right.
adapt to each other.
I mean, strictly on the basis of trying to match people power for power. Scarlet Witch is a tough one because she's like
Oh yeah,
super
Zatanna?
powerful. Even more in the comics. Like Scarlet Witch in the comics is even crazier than I think what we've seen out of her in the MCU.
what about Dr. Fate?
You probably need like a Dr. Fate. Although, I mean, theoretically, Dr. Fate, Dr. Strange.
Yeah.
But like, maybe Dr. Fate, yeah. Zatanna, I think you need to go that big for Scarlet Witch for sure.
Or like Constantine?
Especially if you're going like magic to magic. Now, when you're with what you're doing, maybe that's not it. But I think
Well,
I think as much as I love Black Canary, she might be vaguely outclassed in that matchup.
and that's totally fair.
Yeah.
I guess and apologies, Dan, I'm kind of veering off from your question because this is how I live my life. But I find it very interesting because when we watch, the cartoons with our kid,
Right.
there's never like Teen Titans, go on out there because there's a bad guy that is exactly matched to you. Like,
Well, that's true.
You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Like there's always a piece of adaptability there. So,
Sure.
But what would your ultimate be?
I mean, I was even just doing it as you were suggesting
And
stuff.
it's 4 versus 4 is what he's asking.
Yeah, and I realized it's sort of, I don't know, it's kind of like not fun to say like Mr. Fantastic versus Plastic Man.
Yeah.
I also don't think that matchup necessarily makes sense because Mr. Fantastic, though stretchy, the thing he's really bringing to the table is how smart he is.
Yeah.
So I would go maybe more like Mr. I mean, this is also maybe obvious because the Terrifics book was clearly like a take on the Fantastic Four, but you could go Mr. Fantastic and Mr. Terrific. Mr. Terrific doesn't have the same powers, but I think they're bringing the same like energy to the field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Can I say something crazy?
Go for it. Yeah.
Looking at this question again, it doesn't say DC versus Marvel matchup, good versus good. So
It actually it exactly says that.
Does it?
It says, what's a fair DC versus Marvel matchup?
Shit.
Like 4 heroes on both sides.
Sorry, I saw what is a fair DC versus Marshall. Jesus Christ, Marvel matchup. I skipped over.
God, if you're enjoying this so far, you also got to check out Ghostfacers from this week. We're having a great time with direct instructions this week.
My ADHD is through the roof this week. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Who else would I throw in there?
If it was, oh no, never mind. That doesn't count. Damn it.
I'd put like,
See, you're biffing this too.
It's just because I'm getting caught in the trap of like who's the mirror thing. Like I don't
Yes.
just want to say like Aquaman and Namor. I don't just want to say like, I'm getting I did it when you pitched something, and then I realized after it's like I shouldn't have done that because
like Swamp Thing versus The Thing.
well, Swamp Thing and Man Thing
But-
would be the Marvel one.
Yeah, but I'd love to see The Thing.
Like the Antarctic horror monster.
No, the
Oh, you mean like for the Fantastic Four?
yeah, Rock.
Oh, Swamp Thing and the Thing. Okay, sure. Yeah.
Because
yeah.
you got
Because Marvel also has Man Thing, which is both Swamp Thing and Man Thing are both ripoffs of the Heap.
oh
So
okay.
I thought you were going there.
No. I was going Michael Chiklis.
Sure. Yeah.
Versus Swamp Thing. I think that'd be cool because it's all elements, right?
Sure. Yeah, maybe it might be interesting to take a character then like Ice, who's traditionally paired with a character like Fire because they kind of bounce off each other, but then put her against like Johnny Storm
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
At any rate, that's probably an unsatisfying answer, but that we just named a bunch of Marvel characters, so there's that.
That's what we do.
What's the Flash's favorite food?
Oh,
I'm just gonna
pizza.
throw it out there.
Pizza, isn't
You think
it?
it's pizza?
Yeah, because I hear him talk about that a lot when we watch these shows.
Do you?
Yeah, when we were watching the Flash movie for your double, he mentioned pizza like 6 times.
Does he?
Yeah,
Does he?
yeah.
Okay.
But he's also eating at Bruce Wayne's house. I can't remember.
Here's the thing. I do think pizza probably comes up more than we think because it is also like famously like,
Calories.
well, no, I was just going to say hot and ready. And then I realized that was like a trademarked thing. But like,
Yeah.
you could go to like any big city. There's a slice place open. You know, like if
Yeah.
you're doing a character like the Flash where it's like, and now I need food quick,
Yeah.
pizza does feel obvious.
Absolutely does.
More obvious than like steak or, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like something like that. So it's not, pizza is probably up there. The Flash also eats spaghetti in that movie, though. He eats the spaghetti that explains the multiverse.
Yes. Yeah, that's Bruce Wayne's house. Yeah, I remember. I remember now.
Yeah, his favorite. I mean, if you go by the Flash TV show, it's Big Belly Burger.
Yes.
That's what they frequent the most on that show.
Fair.
Although I don't know that Flash is necessarily the biggest fan of it, but everyone else seems to be. Reverse Flash likes it on that show because they don't have cows in his time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about something else. I was thinking about you said that Black Panther was married to Storm, right? At some point?
Yeah.
Like a Storm.
I mean, I don't know if they currently are. My Marvel is foggy, but yes, they're like a thing.
Well, thinking of like elements or like nature, whatever. How about Vixen Storm?
Ooh, Vixen and Storm. Yeah, sure. So you have like the I like it.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Vixen
and Storm is
that
good.
one just kind of danced across my mind.
I enjoy it. That's good. Yeah.
You're here for it. Or Daredevil Nightwing?
Yeah, interesting. Nightwing is such like a bright, happy-go-lucky character next to fucking Daredevil.
Which would kind of be amazing.
Man,
That juxtaposition would be great.
all of Daredevil's shit, you know, it works because he's like a mopey Catholic, but like woof.
Okay.
Don't bring that guy to the party.
Since we don't like to leave any Dans unsatisfied.
Especially in January.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So 4 on each. You
Want us to like...
Yeah.
just-
We owe it to him.
Okay. So wait, how do you want to do this?
Give me your 4 DC.
I'll give 4 DC. I'll just pick 4 DC.
Yeah.
And then you're just going to pick 4 Marvel to go with them?
Yeah. Actually, no, let me pick DC because you know more about Marvel than I do.
Maybe.
Okay.
But go on.
Thank you. Doctor Strange.
That's Marvel.
Oh, shit. I'm not good at instructions. Can't take me anywhere. All right. Red Tornado.
Sure.
Psycho Pirate.
Sure. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Qu'est-ce que c'est? Supergirl.
Okay.
And Steel.
Steel, I guess, like Colossus.
Okay.
Psycho Pirate and like maybe the Purple Man.
Okay.
Psycho Pirate manipulates emotions, but Purple Man has the like, he like just says stuff to you and you're compelled to obey him, like mind control kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
He's a Jessica Jones villain. It was David Tennant on the show.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But that's not a hero, right?
Too late.
Well, hey.
I've committed.
Okay.
Supergirl, I guess like Captain Marvel.
Okay.
Like Carol Danvers.
Yeah.
And then what was your first one again? Oh, Doctor Strange. The obvious.
Well, no, and then I changed it because you gave me shit.
Oh, right, to a DC one.
You want to know the best thing in the world?
We both don't remember it?
It's gone.
This is a great episode.
We're doing really
this
well.
This is really good to do.
I really like this.
They're going to be begging Richard to come back.
Okay.
Maybe Richard is the GOAT.
He might just be. This is it. This is the peak of marriage right here.
Pick a 4th DC character. Top of the dome.
Etrigan.
Etrigan the Demon?
Yeah.
Mephisto.
Okay.
Yeah.
You say that with such zhuzh, like I should know.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Mephisto, the demon?
Will you do me a favor?
Yeah.
When you edit this.
Oh, no. Sorry. Hang on. You said Etrigan?
I did.
I'm changing mine to Ghost Rider. Mephisto is like
Nicolas Cage style.
Mephisto is like the devil. Yeah. Ghost Rider.
Okay.
That's a good, because he's got like a demon in him kind of thing.
Not Ghost Rider Lobo?
Ghost Rider Lobo is great, but I'm going with it for Etrigan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Do me a solid. When you listen to this back in an hour,
Yeah.
and do some editing.
Oh, I won't be editing.
No. Can you remind me what my first choice was, please?
Yeah, I have no idea what it was.
And
Truly don't remember. Honestly, I'll be honest with you. As soon as you said Psycho Pirate, I didn't remember what the first one was. I was really hoping that you had that locked away.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
This is going very well.
Happy January, y'all.
So that was, we're 15 minutes in and that was one question. We're leaving Reddit. We're heading on over to the Doc Scored.
I don't know what the theme is.
No, hang on. I got this. I got to pick a song and then put Doc Scored into it.
Okay.
Hang on. Duck a duck, duck a duck, duck a duck, duck a duck. If you want to score, duck a duck, then you score the ducks. Duck a duck's on scored. You can ducks that scored.
Wow.
Yeah. Because Mamma Mia is like constantly happening in our house.
Yeah, our 6-year-old lives for Mamma
Yeah,
Mia.
Kyle loves Mamma Mia.
Loves it. Especially Pierce Brosnan. Shout out.
Honestly,
Shout out to Dr. Fate.
I also love Pierce. But I mean, the audacity for us to talk about Pierce Brosnan and the two roles we mentioned are him in Mamma Mia and him as Dr. Fate.
Oh, I could do this all day.
The absolute audacity.
Dante's Peak. Let's talk about that.
That's a fucking good movie.
It's a dope movie. All right, what's happening at the Doc Scored?
First question on the Doc Scored comes from Dan DX2049, who asks, which fourth world character deserves a self-titled 6 or 12 issue in the current kind of state of the DC universe?
Okay, what is Fourth World?
The fourth world refers to the new gods. So like Mr. Miracle, Big Barda, Darkseid, Desaad. If it's New Genesis or Apocalypse, that's like the forever people. Like I know you've kind of bombed in and out of Young Justice, but
yeah.
I don't know if you saw the episode where like all these aliens show up and they think Superboy stole the super cycle, but they're like, oh no, like
yes.
you are truly a great warrior, like Bear and Mark Moonrider. That's all fourth world.
Okay.
Anything connected to the new gods of New Genesis or of Apocalypse is the fourth world.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying. I'm going to sit this one out because I am bringing nothing to the table.
You're going to
tonight.
sit it out entirely.
Oh yeah, no, I just want to hear what you have to say.
Nothing.
I got less than nothing. You know why? Because I'm not as cool as you.
My first instinct is a character that already had a series like this, which is Forager, who's like a lowly bug on the planet New Genesis. And Forager had a series in the DC Young Animal like imprint that was like Gerard Way's imprint there at DC for a bit.
Oh, okay.
There was a Forager series that's pretty good. That's like definitely my first kick of the can. That's the one that I would say. I'll be honest with you. I think Light Ray is too boring of a character to hold down a book by himself. In terms of, we know Mr. Miracle could hold it down. Big Barda could hold it down. We've seen different versions of that. There was a Female Fury series. There was obviously the Mr. Miracle series. Mr. Miracle has had a few titles over the years.
And that's the one with Big Barda and their whole life.
Yeah.
With Granny Goodness and all those bits.
Totally.
Okay.
Go on.
You know what? I lied.
Okay.
I lied.
You're going to weigh in.
If
Hit me. Who in the fourth world should get a series?
Does Artemis count in the fourth world?
Like Artemis.
Artemis.
Oh, yeah. I mean, very obscure. Yeah. Okay.
Because on the is it Young Justice?
Well, not that Artemis.
I know it's not that Artemis, but I went looking for that Artemis one time for Magoo, and I came across Artemis.
Okay.
And I went, that's not it at all.
Right.
But I'd like to know more about that character.
Sure. I would too. I don't have anything queued up for Artemis, if I'm being honest.
You're welcome. That's why I'm here.
I would throw out there an apocalyptian new god called Kanto. who I think very few series have really cracked Kanto well, because his sort of thing is that he's a bad guy who he kind of like fits into the old timey, almost like musketeer sort of thing of like he likes his wine, he likes to duel. There's he's like kind of he like Kanto is sort of like an Aramis kind of type.
Okay. Very Jeremy Irons-esque.
Well, no, not that Aramis necessarily, but Aramis
or Charlie Sheen Aramis.
I mean, definitely not. I don't know how you could like that. That movie's such a piece of shit.
You're welcome.
But Kanto is an interesting character. I think actually a version of Kanto I may have wanted to see more of is the one that we sort of got during Dark Side War, the Jeff Johns, Jason Fabok event. But yeah, maybe Kanto might be interesting. Because Kanto's thing is that he periodically lives on Earth because he's like enjoys the finer things. So
does he live in a casita?
So no, but he would you'd maybe like live in a castle or something. Like again, he's got a very like European 16th, 17th century kind of vibe.
Way to skip over my Encanto joke, you jerk.
Oh, I see. Oh, Encanto. It's good.
Crickets.
Yeah, that's really good.
Crickets.
That's really good.
Happy January.
Yeah, happy January. Yeah, Danto is who I think should be.
And Danto. There you go.
And Danto. There we go. Yeah.
See, I'm just here serving them up for you.
But yeah, maybe that one.
Now, do you think Kanto should have a 6 or a 12 issue?
Probably 6. Let's not push it.
Okay. Fair.
All right. Next question comes from... He's only just Dan done.
The one, the only.
The OG. The reason for the season, you could say.
Hey, he was in my head.
Yeah, what the fuck, Dan?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you why.
Dan asks, which DC character would be the best at sumo if powers were legal in the rules? I mean, this is great for us because we're coming up on like buying our sumo tickets.
Yeah.
We're going to go to Japan in like just a bit over a month.
We love sumo.
We're excited for sumo. There's going to be a new Yokozuna by the time that we're there.
Oh, it's going to be so freaking good.
Probably. You know,
Yes.
Yokozuna Hoshoryu looks like.
But we're pretty bummed because all of our boys are all retired now.
Yeah, a lot of the ones that we came up with are retired now. That's a sport that takes its toll on you.
But
who knows? Maybe Tochino Shin will just be there. Maybe we'll see Tochino Shin.
and Takekeisho.
Or Chiyomaru. Yeah, maybe we'll see Takekeisho doing commentary.
Koto Shogiku.
Oh, Koto Shogiku.
Thank you for coming. This is why we're here. Okay, so what DC characters would be good at sumo if powers were legal in the rules? That is a really good one.
It is a good one.
I really enjoy that. I'd say, which is the dude? Is it Elongated Man or Plastic Man that can make it himself?
I mean, yes.
So okay, either Plastic Man or Elongated Man, because if he can like puff,
right,
and like absorb and push,
sure. Yeah, I don't know that you can necessarily. Well, I mean, they can alter their density to a certain degree.
So yeah,
sure. I was going to go the opposite way. I was going to say a character like Starboy, Tom Kalor from the Legion of Superheroes, because his power is that he can like increase his mass. He could just be like immovable, you know, like he could be like an Ichinojo type.
Yeah,
just plant and like. Right off the Tachi, the other like Rikishi would fall down or something.
You know what would be hilarious to me? Because sumo wrestlers are just so contained and respectful and and dim.
Yeah. You don't do the Tiger Woods fist pump in sumo. Yeah,
I would love because it doesn't. Like, let me double read so that I'm not stupid again.
It does say best at sumo. It doesn't say win every match. And so if you're looking for who would like best embody the spirit of sumo, that's a way to interpret this.
Well, which DC character, not hero.
Yeah, it could be anyone.
I would love to see, this guy does not embody sumo.
Okay.
But I'd love to see an Atrocitus.
He's the least sumo.
I know. That's why I want to see it.
Bro literally wears his rage on his hand.
Precisely.
Yeah, okay.
I think that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Imagine him in a mawashi.
Yeah.
Throwing salt.
Yeah, he's just spitting blood into the ring instead. Yeah.
See? I made you smile.
Atrocitus. That's truly out of nowhere. I love it.
You're welcome.
That's good. There is a character in DC called Sunny Sumo.
Yeah.
He exists. He's out there, but yeah, I like ours.
Good for us.
There we go.
Good job, babe.
Next question. We're on to like more lesser Dans now. We've already done Dan Dunn, but okay. Next lesser Dan.
Jeez.
Dan Craig, who asks, we've seen Batman meet his father as Flashpoint Batman, but would you like to see a scenario where Batman fights his mother as Flashpoint Joker? Now, is that...
You have explained this to me before about
Right.
Martha Wayne coming back as the Joker.
Well, not coming back. It's that in this other timeline, Bruce gets shot in the alley.
Yes.
And dies.
And then
And the grief cracks her mind, and
Yes.
she becomes the Joker, and Thomas Wayne becomes like Murder Batman.
Yes. I do remember this.
Yeah.
I do remember you telling me about this.
Yeah. Is that like a thing? Would you be like, oh my God, it's happening? Or would you go like, who cares?
Okay.
Because I'm kind of in the latter camp.
Yeah.
But I'm also sort of over Flashpoint Batman.
Is it bad that I would only be interested in it if it was shot in the realm of like Sin City?
Oh, I wasn't even thinking as like a movie. I was just thinking in comics.
I'm thinking like movie-esque. I'd be interested to see that scenario in a movie form, but only like Dick Tracy style Sin City
Right.
esque, like just that sort of
Sure.
20s gritty.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because not a lot of time is meant, not a lot of time has to pass between the incident and the snap, right?
Yeah. I feel like it doesn't interest me that much, because I feel like even within Flashpoint, there's like, you get like one or two moments of like, whoa, what a cool idea. And then everything after that, you kind of go like, this doesn't really work anymore. Like they sort of revisit it again in Flashpoint Beyond, don't they? And I don't know. It's not for me. We did get Batman fighting, or a Batman or some... it was Batman. We did get Batman fighting a version of his mother during Dark Knight's death metal, where from one of the dark multiverse Earths, there's a character called Pearl, who's a version of Martha Wayne in like a big mech suit that was fighting on the side of like the Dark Knights.
That's something.
So there is that one. So Batman did fight her there. So you got a version of that does exist in a canon comic.
I would be intrigued, but only if it falls within a certain metric. Like
Right.
I'm being pretty elitist about this.
Right. Just
But-
like in like a certain style.
Yeah. Whereas you are like meh.
Yeah, I just don't think I think it was a neat idea, like for this amount of time,
Yes.
and any amount of time more than that, I'm like, this idea is not really this good,
Fair. Okay. There are other layers of Batman that you enjoy more.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right. Next question comes from Dan Fart Dan, who asks, if you could get Alan Moore to come back for a run on one character, who would you choose? Yeah, Alan Moore.
Watchmen, right?
Yeah, Watchmen, Killing Joke, For the Man Who Has Everything,
Is he the League as well?
Swamp Thing, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Yes, that is him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, among other things. Yeah. If he was like, I'll come back to DC and I'll do a run on one character and then you'll never hear from me again, what would you put him on?
Okay. I have two options here.
Okay.
And because he has already done that run on Swamp Thing and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, I'm sure this is not the most creative of answers.
Sure.
But my mind immediately went to either Clayface
Is interesting. Yeah.
Clayface or Solomon Grundy.
I think, yeah. I think we both went in with like Swamp Thing glasses on because
Yes.
I was going to say Metamorpho.
Okay.
But I think we're all of these ideas are on the track of like
Yeah.
shambling, misunderstood monster.
Yes. But another character that I think would be interesting. I would like to see his lens on like Constantine, like Justice League Dark styles?
Well, here's a little fun fact about that. Good instincts, because Constantine first appears in Swamp Thing.
That Alan Moore does?
That character comes from Swamp Thing.
Oh, geez. Supposed to show what I know.
No, but I mean, good instinct though. Like that's obviously a very natural pairing for that character.
Well, but like looking at, for example, that animated one that we really like, the Justice League Dark,
Sure,
with Clarion the Witch Boy, and it's Young Justice, isn't it?
Young Justice has Clarion in it, but doesn't have Constantine. But that Justice League Dark one is Constantine and Batman and Zatanna and Deadman and Swamp Thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. So yeah, that would be my choices. And then just for something completely odd and weird, this is for Richard. I would love to see an Alan Moore Gnord.
Oh God, I don't even know what that would mean.
It doesn't, but that's the point.
I'll throw one out there. I think Martian Manhunter. I think Alan Moore doing Martian Manhunter makes a lot of sense.
Fair.
I think there's like that kind of like outside observer of humanity kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I think there's something there that is like a little less shambly monster Swamp Thing lens, but is still kind of in that Moore wheelhouse a little bit.
Like maybe a Ragman as well.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, just some stuff like that. But yeah, Martian Manhunter maybe would be neat. Yeah, those are good suggestions. I like those. That's great. All right. Next question comes from Desperate Dan, who asks, do you think Nightwing will ever get his own sidekick other than Haley, a.k.a. Bitewing? So Bitewing is the three-legged dog that Dick Grayson owns.
I see.
He's not really an actual sidekick, but Bitewing has had adventures of his own.
I kind of don't love that for him.
Nightwing?
Yeah.
Having a sidekick, you mean?
Yeah.
Is there like a reason or just like a gut feeling in your soul?
You know, the whole Robin sequencing where Nightwing, he kind of comes back and is a mentor, but like arm's length.
Sure.
When the Bat family's together.
Yeah.
But I think that the arc to him becoming his own superhero, whatever, I don't think that mentorship, parentage, whatever, is an effective closing for him. Like,
interesting.
You know, he's out there and we don't know what his legacy moving forward is, and I kind of like that it's just him on that journey.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. There's this period of time after Final Crisis where they think that Batman is dead, and then there's the battle for the cowl.
Yes.
And Dick comes out of that victorious. Dick becomes Batman.
Yes.
Joins the Justice League, all this stuff. And I've said this many times on the podcast. I don't believe that Dick should be Batman.
Yes.
Like, again, or like he did it in that period of time, and then Bruce comes back and we're fine. But like, I don't believe that like Dick is the successor to Batman. I think it's better that he's Nightwing.
I agree.
That the ultimate success of Batman is that he did not take a kid that mirrored his own tragedy and turn him into him.
Yes.
The success of Batman is that Dick became something better.
Yes.
So him being Nightwing, I love. But the thing that's maybe the best thing that came out of the Dick Bats era is that his Robin was Damian.
Yes.
It's the one time he really had truly had a sidekick.
Yeah.
Is Damian, and their relationship's amazing. But Damian is beyond really sidekicking now. Even when he's on an adventure with Bruce, they're like partners now, you know? There is a part of me that thinks at some point it might be neat for Nightwing to have a proper sidekick of his own. And if I had to throw an existing character in the ring for that, I might say like Harper Row, like Bluebird, which was sort of introduced in the New 52 Batman. And then Harper has sort of like disappeared off to the side. But like Bluebird might be kind of interesting, like a young, tech smart kind of character, very self-sufficient. You know, in some ways, very independent and like strong of will, like a Damian, but not a psychopath. You know,
Fair.
But I'm not against the idea of that. But yeah, I do kind of agree with you too that Nightwing doesn't feel like he's missing a sidekick.
Yes.
You know, when
Yeah.
you read him, I don't go like, do you know what this needs?
Well, yeah.
Especially because his book is so much about his partnership with Barbara,
Yes.
you know? So,
And yeah, I just feel like it's not a natural evolution.
yeah, I would kind of agree with that. It kind of only worked when he was filling in for Batman because Batman feels like he should have a sidekick.
Yes.
Or, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Or like the symbol of Batman, you know,
Yeah.
like using a tragedy to rear up,
Sure.
you know, the next generation, whatever,
Yeah.
and healing himself in the process, that sort of shit. Like,
And a lot of what Nightwing's been doing in the comics is trying to eschew that entirely, where he's like, he's trying to stop people from even having to go down the road of the vigilantism.
yes,
You know, like he's taking the thing that is what makes him Batman's success and he's taking it the next step further. So in a way, he's almost like putting the kibosh on sidekicking, but
fair.
all right.
There you go.
Next question.
Those are our desperate answers.
Next question comes from Dan D. Fellow, great name, incredible name, who asks, if you could adapt any DC any DC storyline into a reverse Muppet style film with one Muppet in a cast of humans, what story would you tell and what Muppet would replace what hero or villain? So again, it's a reverse Muppet situation.
Yes.
You only get one Muppet.
Yes.
You get the rest humans.
Yes.
So what's a story that you would throw out there and what's the character the Muppet would be and which Muppet would you pick?
Okay. I'm stuck on this storyline, but in my head, all I just saw was Pepe the Prawn as Clary and the Witch Boy with the cat.
Okay.
And you're like,
so
like, stop talking, okay?
you want Pepe the Prawn
the King Prawn?
to be Clary and the Witch Boy.
Yes. Could you imagine?
I mean, barely.
Could you imagine?
Pepe the King Prawn as Clary.
Yeah.
But what's the story?
Well, like in the Justice League Dark.
You mean like Young Justice?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which one?
Sorry.
Like the one where he's like splits the world into
Yes.
adults and kids kind of
Yes.
thing. If you did that though, you should split the world into Muppets and people, and then you spend most of the time in the people world. Okay, no, you're onto something.
I think so. And it would just
May I say that's a damn good idea.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Hot Dan. That's a good idea.
I love you. But yeah.
that's pretty good.
But I don't know why, but I just think
But
of
it's Pepe the King Prawn.
because nobody can take him seriously. And like the cat might be bigger than him.
Right.
So it'd be like, oh, tickle, okay? Like, oh, get over there. Like,
Man, we're
I know,
bordering on
well,
some racist fucking
what?
accents.
Listen, I'm doing my best, okay?
That's the problem, I think.
I'm still
That's like every time Richard tries to do an Irish accent, he starts with a sound that is racist, but not to Irish people. If you ask Richard to do an Irish accent, he always goes, ho! And then, like, cause he's trying to go like, ho, chito, chito. But like, that like 2 seconds of him prepping the accent is the most stress that I have on this podcast.
that's it.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So there. That would be mine.
This is not a very creative story to pitch because it's overdone,
Yeah.
but I might pick Flashpoint,
Yeah.
but with Gonzo. But Gonzo's been fired out of a cannon backwards through time and shattered history. And so it's just Gonzo.
That's not bad.
I think that's the one that I would maybe pick for that.
Do you want to hear another one?
Yeah, hit me, yeah.
You know the Hellboy with Selma Blair, like the first one
Yeah.
with Ron Perlman?
Yeah.
But it's Sweetums.
Sweetums is Hellboy?
Yes. Yes.
I can't even do a Sweetums impression.
Yes.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's Hellboy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got like all the accoutrement and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
That's pretty good.
That's what I'm here for.
I'll try and throw one more out there. I'm Hellboy, just for the record, not DC. But
Oh, I thought it was.
no,
Sorry.
that's a Dark Horse
Oh, apologies.
book. But still, great pitch.
Yeah.
DC story, maybe I don't know. Go on. What do you have? Hit me.
Kermit as Bloodsport in the Suicide Squad. So you just have John Cena in his tidy whities.
And Kermit?
And Kermit, but he's got the mask on.
But you want Kermit to have that scene with his daughter where he's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
No, fuck you.
Yeah. Why you got a style watch? Like,
why did you pull out the paternity test? Like,
tell me you wouldn't watch that.
I said that's
Just walking through the militia
told you,
camp.
there's no good in me.
Yeah. walking through the militia camp.
So sorry, Kermit and John Cena are just murdering people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there's a shark.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I want Animal as Jared Leto's Joker.
Jesus.
Harley Quinn. That's good.
Oh, I know it's Marvel, but Sam the Eagle is Captain America.
Yeah, I mean, Sam, I think Richard and I have done that on a double where we were like Muppets casting different things.
Oh yes.
I think we definitely maybe put Sam the Eagle in as Captain America or something like that for one of them, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
There you go. But yeah, Pepe
Right.
the King Prawn.
That is interesting.
This is why you have me.
I'm just trying to think of like one more. I might put yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one for sure. Maybe
Scooter is Alfred.
Scooter as Alfred. I was gonna say Dr. Honeydew as Doc Magnus. Doing like a Metal Men thing.
Oh my goodness! But you can't do it without Beaker.
Yeah, you do. Beaker would be tin though, I think. But yeah, it breaks the format because you can't have two Muppets. But Beaker would obviously be tin if he was a Metal Man.
Absolutely, he would. Absolutely, he would.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Scooter is Alfred.
That's pretty good. Yeah, Sweetums would be a good Swamp Thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could do the anatomy lesson where they're just carving up Sweetums and they're like, oh, it's just a puppet that thinks he's real.
You know what? This is going to be one of these questions. I have to thank you, Dan, because this is going to be one of those questions that at like 2 a.m. tonight, when the doctor and I are going to sleep, I'm going to roll over and go, hey,
I thought of one.
hey, how about this?
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question comes from Dan DiDio.
Woo!
Seems unlikely. Who writes, what is your solution to aging and the passage of time in comics? Unless it stops entirely, it's inevitable that these characters will become too old. This problem will only get worse the more legacy characters we add, and attempts to compress time a la the New 52 can break continuity. So the question here is like, back in the old days when there was just Batman and Robin, you can go, Batman's probably in his 30s or something, and Robin's a kid.
Yeah.
But then when you get to like Judas Contract and now Robin's Nightwing and they're growing up and like now Nightwing's out on his own, you go, well, Nightwing's now an adult.
Yeah.
So even if we never specify it, we kind of have to push Batman's age.
Yeah.
He's got to be in his 40s.
Yeah.
Something like that. But then you introduce like Tim Drake, a younger Robin. And then even he grows up. And then you introduce Damian, and he's a younger Robin. Then even he grows up, and you go like, Batman, I think it might still be in his 40s.
Yeah.
Again, you never really specify it.
Yeah.
But you kind of, there's like an intuition, and the intuition is that Superman and Batman are not in their 50s.
No.
But we keep compressing more generations in under them. Like, they don't age evenly. And it's not a thing where we constantly are like, oh, I went into the youth machine, or like
in the Lazarus pit, and like
we're not doing that. They've tried to like actually place them in a timeline before, and it was a mess.
Yeah.
Like, what's your feeling about that in terms of like even something like cartoons or whatever, where it's like,
I was just about to say, I kind of don't care.
Yeah, I don't either, really.
And all I think about is The Simpsons.
Yeah, sure.
Think about The Simpsons. How many babies have been born? How many life moments have been addressed in time in The Simpsons? Like Ronald Reagan and like these definitive places in time but they never age.
They just did a thing a couple of seasons ago on The Simpsons where it was like when Homer and Marge met, but it was set in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like, and you kind of realize, like, oh, fuck. Like,
Yeah. Well, exactly. And
instead of it being like Woodstock or whatever it was before.
Yeah.
It was like,
honestly, it just, I don't care.
I don't either. It's an interesting question, though, especially because it's...
And I don't know how you would address it.
Especially because it's relative. You know, like, I think in the global sense, even if we weren't introducing new generations, every once in a while you just go, like, actually, a way to think about it that is, like, remarkably good is it's from Doomsday Clock, where they're talking about the metaverse, where you go... Every once in a while, there's a little weird reset to this continuity. And then the way it was before just splinters off and becomes its own very similar, but not quite parallel Earth.
Okay.
So Earth 1985 is the way the DC universe was immediately post-crisis or something. But then, you know, in that one, Clark would have landed in Kansas in the 60s.
Yeah.
Now he would have landed in Kansas in the... late 90s,
Yeah.
you know, like whatever that is, you know,
well,
or, you know, maybe the early 90s or something. You would just slide that scale. The bit that's interesting about this question to me is that we're doing both that and sliding new generations in.
Yes.
Ultimately, because they're serialized comics, there's not a good way around that. Other than you can't even really age them out. Mm-hmm. Because we still have the wartime heroes who are like magically perpetually young.
Yeah, this
like Alan Scott and Jay Garrick and that. So you can't even really do as much as you want with like Barry and Bruce and that. You could put them in their 50s and 60s, make them a bit older. They're not as old as the Justice Society ones. They're like, but that is also the age where it feels like they should be out of it. You're either magically sustained and super old, like the Golden Age guys, or you're young enough to do the fight. It is kind of a weird thing. In general, I don't care. I'm with you. I just kind of wash over it. I think any attempt to apply...
logic is...
Like, the Flash sometimes will do the thing where it's like, oh, and he got younger because he ran in a... You know, but like, really? We just should ignore it.
Yeah, Bruce tripped and fell in a Lazarus pit.
Don't think about it.
Yeah.
There's 7 generations of Bat family. Bruce is still 40. It's just like, don't look at it. Don't think about it.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Hit me. Yeah.
This I've never seen this happen in any iteration of superhero things that I've ever watched or read with you.
Right.
Is there ever a time when these things are happening and like tangential characters or periphery characters just like die of old age? Like
very rarely.
But you know what I mean? It's like, oh, we have to go to Felicity's funeral. Like Felicity just died.
Oh, you're thinking on like Arrow.
Yeah, but you know what I mean?
Very, very rarely, because it's comics.
Or like Commissioner Gordon. Or
Gordon has gotten old.
Okay.
That is one weird example. Because he's gotten old. Like, they do this thing where like Bruce and he will share a conversation and they'll be like, you know, we used to be young, right? And you go like, Bruce is still pretty young feeling. But like Gordon has gone from having like red hair to white hair.
Yeah.
And he's aged. He's not the commissioner anymore.
Well, he's white hair like, in the cartoon.
I know, but in the comics, he didn't.
Okay.
But be like he's aged a bunch. He's not the commissioner anymore. He's like running like a PI business with Bullock, or he was.
Yeah.
You know, Gordon is feeling old.
Yeah.
But again, it's not even. He's feeling old. There's a story happening in Batman right now where Batman's like, I feel old, and he's going in for these like rich person treatments that give him like young platelets or whatever.
Yeah, or like Barry's dad who's still in jail or something like that.
Sure.
You know, you just don't. I've never come across like, oh, you know,
there are some examples.
What are the words I'm looking like you know, oh, like Blue Beetle had cancer. Like you like there's just
this is not a DC example, but I'm pretty sure that's what they did with the first Captain Marvel in Marvel. I think Marvel dies of cancer or some shit like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
They did a story like that in Marvel. There are, like, every once in a while they try something like that with DC, but, like, rarely, I would say.
Okay.
You know, Ted Knight did end up technically exploding, but he was old. Ted Knight would have just died.
Yeah.
Sandman, Wesley Dodds, died.
Okay.
You know, like from being kind of old.
Yeah. Or like,
But that's kind of it.
yeah. I don't know. You just don't see anybody being like, oh, we got to go to I know this is not a character, but like, oh, we have to go to like the Crimson Crusaders funeral. Like, you know, like Gerald died.
It's because usually when they die, it's not peacefully.
Yes.
Even the old ones, they're like, I still got it. They like go out, you know, they get like gunned down in the street or something like that.
I don't know. That's just something that stuck to me.
It's probably, there are the odd story or things out of continuity where they'll do stuff like that, but it doesn't happen a lot. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question comes from Dan Mars, who asks, which member of the Justice League would make the worst U.S. president? I mean, I'll take a cop-out answer. I'll say Aquaman because he's already the sovereign leader of a different nation.
The worst U.S. president. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Maybe Wonder Woman.
Because she's a woman? That's fucked up. It's 2025.
Not the fact that she's fucked up.
That's not what I said.
Well, that's what you said.
Not the fact that she's fucked up. That's not what I said.
The fact that she's a woman is not the situation.
Sure.
When I think of U.S. presidents, I think of a person who is putting the United States as the pinnacle.
Right, like above themselves.
Yeah, everything is the greater good for the nation.
Wouldn't that be nice?
And I think Wonder Woman is too grounded and too concerned about global and like the welfare of everyone.
I see what you're saying. I mean, certainly I see what you're saying. She'd make a great world leader, but it's almost antithetical to America to be like a good global citizen. Yeah.
Yes.
I kind of get what you mean.
You see what I mean?
I do understand what you mean. It's a good point.
It has nothing to do with her being a woman.
Well,
if anything,
I don't know. It's sort of the way you said it, but
you're fucked.
Yeah, the worst U.S. president. Luthor wasn't great, but compared to real life, I'd vote for Luthor.
But is he a member of the Justice League?
He has been.
Okay.
So,
well, I need to know. We got a fact check.
This is
the Dans deserve a fact checked episode.
Yeah,
okay?
That's true. Yeah.
Like get over yourself.
Yeah, can we get this Dan checked? It doesn't rhyme with fact. It didn't work.
No, it didn't.
Anyway, yeah. Trying to think of another. I mean, Batman would be pretty bad because he'd never be there.
No.
Instead of being out golfing all the time, he'd be out beating the shit out of criminals at night.
Exactly.
And be like, he seems tired of this press conference. We know that Superman.
Who's the one that's made out of nuclear energy?
Oh, you mean Captain Atom or Firestorm?
Captain Atom.
Okay.
Because he's already just a threat.
Captain Atom is a threat, but he's also like I'm not a big fan of like the military president sort of thing. Sorry, Eisenhower, but
but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he'd be a war dog, but
Captain Nathaniel Adams.
But we couldn't control him.
I think that's a mistake.
Yeah.
President Superman from Earth 23 is an interesting one, who is good, but also even he has to be like he happens to be good, but he is absolutely like abusing his position of power, not in a way that's really hurting people, but like he probably shouldn't be the president,
That's fair.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I think those are good answers.
I think so too.
All right. Next question comes from Dan Almond Clarity, who asks, Dan Aykroyd, Dan Schneider, Daniel Radcliffe, Daniel Day-Lewis, and Daniel Fogler come to you and say, cast us in the DCU. What roles are you giving them in the Gunverse of the new DCU? So the new James Gunn DC universe, we're going to go through each of these. I just want to, I'll explain who they are if you don't know. And then you give me just gut instinct who you would cast them as.
Okay.
Dan Aykroyd.
Oh, just off the top of my head?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Sorry. Apologies. I thought you were going to explain to me more about Gunverse and then...
Well, James Gunn...
I know who James Gunn is.
So then
Okay.
what would I explain then? What more context could I give?
There's nothing good about you. I just had a really good Dan Aykroyd one.
Did you?
I did.
Then why didn't you say it? Why did you turn this into a bunch of questions about how I'm asking you things?
Shit.
You should have just answered the question.
Well, wait. Oh, it's because I was waiting to see what are the roles in the Gunverse.
Anything. They don't have to be for movies that are out. It's saying like it's a clean slate. They don't have to fit in with the old DCEU. You don't have to like think of someone that would work against Henry Cavill or something like that. Just who would you cast?
Daniel Radcliffe as Beast Boy.
I didn't say Daniel Radcliffe. I said Dan Aykroyd.
Well,
Jesus, I said I'm going to go through them. Okay, we're taking this from the top again. We're going to go through them one at a time. If you don't know who they are, I'll explain it. I'm going to say their name, and then you give me who you would cast.
The Dans.
them as.
You were going to tell me the Dans. I thought you were
Yes.
going to tell me like characters from this universe.
I'm going to name every character in the DC universe so
I don't
you
know
can
what
fit
your
a
life
Dan
is.
to it.
I don't know what James Gunn's up to.
Stop. How is this life? How is this real life?
Dan Aykroyd would be Dead Man.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Really let himself go.
Yeah.
Although
That would be hilarious.
Dan Aykroyd famously loves ghost blowies. So actually, Dead Man, pretty good casting.
Yeah,
That's
see?
a sort of weirdly funny casting.
Yeah.
But don't say it like you had it queued up.
Yeah.
Dan Schneider.
Oh.
The creepy like Nickelodeon or whatever
The
guy.
Penguin.
Oh, interesting. I was
Because he's gross.
I was going to say Sleaze, the apocalyptian new god that tried to make Superman and Big Barda film a sex tape back in the 80s or whatever.
See, I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I just think the like.
There's a very famous comic book cover. I have it in the collection of like Superman and Big Barda are like on this bed together and Mr. Miracle's like in the cuck chair outside like, oh no.
That is. That is fucking outlandish.
It's a pretty insane thing. Yeah.
That is so outlandish.
Okay. I didn't give one for Dan Aykroyd. I guess I should.
Yes.
Dan Aykroyd. I'm gonna say Johnny Thunder, the Golden Age Justice Society member who had the pen with the magic genie in it. He would go, say you, and then the thunder.
Say me.
No, it's like CEI -U. Say you, and then the genie would grant him wishes. So Thunderbolt.
I see.
I'd go with that one.
Okay.
So we did Dan Schneider, Daniel Radcliffe.
Beast Boy.
You don't think he's too old now to play Beast Boy?
I don't know.
And would you? You know what's hard? I think you're on a good track with that. But you know what the biggest obstacle is for me? It's hard for me not to think of Teen Titans Go Beast Boy.
Yes.
It got in the way for me watching the Titans show, and I liked that actor Ryan Potter that played Beast Boy on that show. I liked that actor. I thought he did a good job, but it still bugged me that he wasn't going like, "Hey, mama," like.
Yeah, I still like Beast Boy. I have to think about that.
Okay, well, no, you can lock in Beast Boy. That's fine.
I'm gonna lock in Beast Boy.
For me, Daniel Radcliffe. I'll say. Oh man, it's a tough one. I'm gonna say Ted Kord. I'm gonna make him Blue Beetle.
Okay.
Yeah. Daniel Day-Lewis.
On a fun scale.
If you could get Daniel Day-Lewis for some of this.
On a fun scale.
Right.
If he could just be fun, Gentleman Ghost.
Oh, that's interesting. But he plays him like, what's his name, like Bill the Butcher from Gangs of New York.
Yeah. Or Zatara.
Daniel Day-Lewis as Giovanni Zatara is like, that's fucking good casting.
You're welcome.
That's interesting.
You're welcome.
I like that a lot.
That's why you have me.
Wow. I was going to say like Brainiac or something for Daniel Day-Lewis.
Okay.
Some like big cosmic thing where he could be like the big Justice League bad kind of thing.
Or
Be like, I bottle your cities. I bottle them up.
Vandal Savage?
He'd be a good Vandal Savage too.
Savage.
You're kind of crushing the Daniel Day-Lewis one.
Well, I show up.
Yeah, it's almost like if you followed the instructions that were laid out, this was a fun game.
Oh no, you and I both know that will never happen.
Last one, Dan Fogler. He's the guy from Fantastic Beasts. Like
yes.
the human friend.
Yes.
The Muggle friend.
Oh, yes. The Muggle. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, that's
Dan Fogler.
Dan Fogler.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a little bit of something.
Dan Fogler, or as you might want to call him, like dramatic Josh Gad.
Mr. Mrs. Pitlick.
Interesting.
Yeah. Sorry, Mr. Mrs. Pitlick, right?
Yeah, Mr. Mixius Pitlick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say that, or something absolutely deranged. If you want to see him just a little bit deranged.
Okay.
The comedian.
From Watchmen?
Yeah.
Dan Fogler?
Yeah.
Interesting.
If he
just got jacked up a little bit? Yeah. All right. Dan Fogler. Where am I putting you, Dan Fogler? Tough one. No, I don't like that. It's tricky because he's a short king.
Yeah.
He's not very tall. I'm trying to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Interesting. I need like a good short king kind of character for him.
Mad Hatter.
Mad Hatter would be pretty good. I was trying to think of a hero though too. I feel like I really leaned heavy on villains through this, but yeah, that's a tough one. I'm not sure that I've got a good one for Dan Fogler.
Well, and
I like yours. That was good.
Well, I do what I can.
Yeah,
I really do. And another one that I thought of, Daniel Day-Lewis would be a great Dr. Savannah.
Interesting. I think if they do Dr. Savannah again, I want him like he is in the comics.
Okay.
Like a hunched over old crone looking like, I'm doing science. Like that kind of motherfucker. Like Mark Strong was cool at all, but like he's too cool to be Dr. Savannah. Dr. Savannah is like oh no, foiled. Like he's got like that kind of fucking energy.
Well,
Dr. Savannah looks like the fucking there's like a mad scientist character on Animaniacs or whatever.
Yes.
That's Dr. Savannah. That's the look.
Okay.
That's the energy.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, interesting. That's good.
Oh, Dan Fogler could also thinking of this type of energy, fun energy.
Sure.
Trigon.
You think so?
But he doesn't have to be jacked. He could just be,
because they'd CG him.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And just think of Teen Titans Go.
Oh, that Trigon? Well, yeah,
well, that's
sure.
what I mean,
yeah.
right? Like, it had to be
I don't
fun.
think that Trigon would be in these James Gunn movies necessarily, but yeah. All right.
There you go.
Excuse me. All right. Last question comes from Dan Wiener via our good friend Alex Jaffe, who asks, fuck, marry, kill, Jack Nicholson Joker, Jared Leto Joker, Joaquin Phoenix Joker.
Okay. I would marry Jack Nicholson Joker because he's going to be fine for a long time.
I guess.
Yeah. No, he gonna be fine for a long time.
What, fine in which way? Like R&B way fine? Like
yeah.
It's going to be fine for a long time?
Well, like if you look at Jack Nicholson as the Joker,
yeah,
he's going to age like fine wine.
Is that when you look at Jack Nicholson, you see a man that aged like fine wine?
Well, but back in
I guess as long as the Joker doesn't like go and rot at like a courtside Lakers games.
But I guess my point is you have to put it in context from that movie.
Sure.
Looking at him in that movie,
yeah, I guess
he would have aged beautifully. He would
even compared to flashback him, like you ever
and he's
dance with the devil in the pale moonlight.
yeah, and he's romantic, and
sure,
he's got all the things that would make longevity happen.
Interesting take,
right?
Yeah, I don't think I agree, but it's an interesting take. So marry Jack Nicholson Joker.
Even though if it were real life of these two actors, I would not make this choice.
Okay.
I'd have to kill Joaquin Phoenix.
Interesting.
I'd have to kill him.
Okay. Have you seen that movie?
Yes.
You saw the first one?
But I haven't seen the second one.
Neither have I.
Even though I love the performance.
Yeah.
I just don't need a long period of that.
Fair.
And
so then you're fuck Leto Joker.
Yeah, because he's got a great bod and it would just happen once.
See, this is interesting because I thought that was going to be my hot take, but I was going to say fuck Leto Joker because
Yeah.
I think that he's the sexiest.
Yeah.
I was going to say kill Nicholson Joker because he's crazy.
That's fine.
He's crazy and he'll kill you first.
But at least he brings something to the table.
No. Hear me out. You marry Joaquin Phoenix Joker because if you marry him and you show him a little affection, then you'll get what you fucking deserve, but it won't be violence. I know maybe that mostly sounds like appeasement. That's probably not the right attitude to have, but that was my logic going in.
But in real lifetime, I would choose Joaquin Phoenix over Jared Leto.
Well, yeah,
all day.
Jared Leto would be a nightmare person to live with.
Yes.
I got to imagine.
Well, I wouldn't live with him. It would just be a one-time thing.
Yeah, I mean, even still.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
There you go.
So that's the last question. That was January.
That was
incredible.
That was Dan Good type of bunch of questions there.
It was Dan Good. And if you enjoyed this, just wait until next week when Richard is back and we launch into Epuary, a month of episodes. And so
I know you're excited to have Richard back.
I am. You did great.
Well,
but Richard can follow instructions.
Can he?
Well, actually, no. I take that back too.
You have a type. You really do.
I sure fucking do.
You sure do.
But also, so do you.
Yeah.
And it's me. What does that say about you? So
much.
If you are so inclined, send in questions for next week. You'll see the call for questions go out. You can hit us up on all the social media. We're at Dr. DC Podcast. And hey, have you joined our new Patreon? It's a new year, new Patreon. We're getting rid of the old Dr. DC Patreon, the old Ghostfacers Patreon. We're migrating everything into one new location, which is patreon.com/editpoint. And there you'll find the back catalog of the Double Dose, the back catalog of the Bunker Report, and our brand new weekly bonus series, You Wanted More, plus all of those Golden Age rewatch series that I have been doing with other people, including with Mrs. DC. We did Bonding Time, all the James Bond movies.
Yeah, we did.
But there's also Toretto Talks, Cerebros, and DC Review are up there. All of that helps to support us. So that's patreon.com/editpoint. That's the only spot where new episodes go up anymore. We're going to be taking down those old ones. We're just finishing migrating episodes. So if you haven't moved over yet, do that now. And listen, if you want more of us and our content, if you want to hear Mrs. DC twice in a week, then go listen to Ghostfacers, a Supernatural rewatch. We're going through every single episode of the CW Supernatural. We are almost done season 10 of 15 at this point. We talk about real world monster lore, behind the scenes stuff about the show. It's a grand old time. So head on over there and check that out too. That's it for January. Adios.
Bye.
Superheroes. They always fight for what is right. Live with danger and adventure. They are men of might.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.